Hello, hello, hello. It's finally time. Yes, I am so excited to finally be kicking off Finish Your Book Fall. I've said it so many times that it feels stuck in my brain. And then, of course, when I need to say it, I forgot. Yes, it is the start of Finish Your Book Fall. This week, I wish I could say that it was going better. Unfortunately, so far this week, I've only written 2 out of the 4 days. Today will be 3 out of 5. And I'm just feeling sort of stuck on the scene that I'm in. I'm going to talk about it a little bit in this week's vlog, but essentially, I am introducing a pretty important character, and I didn't really love how she turned out in the first draft. Oh, yeah, I should probably introduce myself. You can tell I'm really bad at this. Hello, everyone. My name is Carrie. I will be your host. I am just another struggling writer, and I am currently working on the second draft of my current work in progress, Seekers of Empyrean, which is a Monster of the Week inspired urban fantasy about a young woman with a rare magical ability who is recruited by a secret government agency to hunt down and stop a growing threat to the magical community. Got all that? Because I'm not repeating it. Um, anyway, so I am in the middle of a scene. I am about 5,000 words into Act 2, and maybe more. Yeah. And I'm about to introduce a pretty important character, and I didn't love how she came out in the first draft, not at all. Um, she kind of plays a specific role in the narrative, and I want her to be important later on as well. Um, anyway, so she's just arrived on the page. She's just arrived on the page. And so I am just feeling kind of stuck with her character and how I want to characterize her. But it's been a couple of days and I really haven't had any brain waves on how to go about that. So I am just going to click on it. Okay. I am just going to plow ahead anyway and just see how it goes. So that's what I'll be doing tonight. I would really like to get 2,000 words tonight because, again, I've only written 2 days out of this week, and neither of those days I hit 1,000 words like I really, really wanted. So that's my goal. I will be continuing writing even after the stream technically ends. So, anyway, so that is my plan for this evening. I'm currently sitting at 35,318 words. And I need to hit like 43,000 or 44,000 by the end of the week, which is on Sunday. So I've got a lot of wood to chop, which is why I'm so excited to be streaming and body doubling, I hope. So, got my drink. Oh, I need that. I've got my heating pad because my room is actually the coldest room in the house. You can't see it, but I've got a ambient music on. I had to find some that was like a black screen because I found that when it was like one of those like nice backgrounds with the music playing in the background, it was a little bit distracting behind me. And I know that I won't be necessarily visible while we're writing, but I don't know, it was just a little bit distracting. Anyway, so let's see. I've got an agenda for today's proceedings. I'm going to do something, I think that'll be a little bit fun as a warm up exercise, especially because I'm feeling stuck right now. What I would like to do is do a drabble. And if you have been following me for a long time, you probably know what drabbles are and how much I love them. But if you don't, drabbles are a form of flash fiction of precisely 100 words in length. And it is designed to test an author's brevity and ability to convey ideas in a short, confined amount of space. And I have pretty much been obsessed with them since my like fan fiction writing days, which was quite a long time ago. And what we would do is we would generate prompts, like just random one word prompts, and then we would have to write a 100-word fan fiction based around that prompt. Sometimes it would be like you have to use that word no matter what it is in your drabble. Sometimes it was just the idea of it. So I have found that when I'm really struggling, I generate a one-word prompt or 2 or 5, and then I write some drabbles based in my current work in progress, and that just helps me get, like, back into the voice of the character, especially if I've taken a lot of time off from the project. Helps me get back into the voice, helps me get back into the mindset, and just really gets the creative juices flowing, um, at a time when you really, really need it. So, that is what we will do. I will generate a one-word prompt here in just a few minutes, and then, we will take a 5-minute warm-up period to write our drabbles, and then, we'll come back and I'll read what I did, and then after that, we will be getting ready to start the first sprint. So my plan is to do, the warm-up drabble and then 2 25-minute sprints, and then like cap it off at the end with like a 15-minute sprint, just a little baby sprint to wind down, like a warm down, as it were. So I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, I'm just going to give it a few more minutes here in case anyone else wants to jump in with us. But yeah, it has been just a long, long week. Long week. Fortunately, it ended off good, but it was a struggle for a little bit there. I got all these really nice decorations for my room, for my writing space. You can't see it right now, but if you watch my last video, you'll see, not my last video, I forgot I posted today, my one before last. You'll see all my nice new decorations, but unfortunately, my cat really liked that like fake raven that I put up there, and he pulled him down and kind of attacked him a little bit, and then he got bored. But the problem is that my dog then found him, well, unbeknownst to me, and chewed his head off. So I am currently waiting for a replacement. But then it was also just like tough stuff going on at work. Really, really just stressful stuff. But fortunately, like I said, it ended off on kind of a good note. And I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm going to get a lot of writing done. I'm a little bit ahead of my homework, which is unusual. And yeah, so it's going swell. I should say. So I'm going to give it another minute here, and then I'm going to generate our prompt. Hi, Donna. How are you? I am just about to generate a one-word prompt for a drabble, which is a little warm-up exercise I'm going to do where you write 100 words based on that one-word prompt. If you want to participate, by all means. If not, that's what I'm going to do just to get the creative juices flowing, because I have been really stuck on this scene that I'm in. So I am going to go ahead and generate a one-word prompt. I use randomwordgenerator.com, and that gives us like a totally random word, and that will give us our one-word prompt. So the word for this little exercise is going to be departure. Departure is our one-word prompt. So here in just another little bit, I'm going to start a 5-minute timer, and then we'll have 5 minutes to write this little drabble, and then after that, we can do an actual sprint. So give me Yes. All righty. Yeah, I love Drabbles because they're just like a great palate cleanser and just a great like jump start, especially when you've been feeling stuck like I have. So, all right, I am gonna go ahead and start the timer, and we will get started with our little exercise here. And I will see you in just a bit. Ooh, I'm way over. Oh no. Well, I didn't hit 100 words. Oh boy. Okay, well, I didn't hit exactly 100 words, unfortunately. I went a little bit over and I was in the middle of editing it down, but that is the my favorite part of the Drabble is that it's meant to be exactly 100 words, and so it kind of presents a challenge in actually hitting that number. Um yeah, I went a little I wonder where I could cut this. But anyway, so that's a Drabble. Um uh yeah. I got to get 7 words. Let me see where I could cut some. Yeah, that's not going to help. Okay. Yeah, exactly. It is kind of like a haiku where it's like it's very specific. It's got rules. Some people uh choose to not adhere to that and they say as long as you get kind of close to 100 words that's good enough. I personally like the challenge of exactly 100 words. Um I'll go ahead and read what I got. I'm a little bit over. Like I said, I got 2 more words down, so I'm at 105. But I wrote, and again, the word for this little exercise was departure. So I wrote, I'm leaving. The words came out easier than expected. Arceli watches Ming's back as it stiffens, but the older woman doesn't turn. A beat passes, then 2. In fact, it takes the better part of a minute before Arceli realizes she's being deliberately ignored. Though she swore to herself she wouldn't let this place get the better of her, not again, not after everything she's given them, but she can't help it. Her fists clench at her sides. I said I'm leaving. I heard you the first time, Ming says. But this isn't an airport, you know. You don't have to announce your departure. So I'm going to finish editing that down later because I have a specific document where I keep all my drabbles, and it bothers me when it is over a increment of 100 words. So, but that's what I got. I am going to post in my community tab a place to post your drabbles if you are here and participating and want to share because I want to read them. I am obsessed with drabbles. I love them and I encourage everyone I know to write more of them. So that post is now active in my community tab if anyone wants to post their versions. So that's a drabble. And it really did. I'm ready to write now. Like I feel like I am like really ready to write. So, um, anyway, hello to anyone who may have joined while we were doing that little warm up exercise. I just thought it would be a little fun way to get the juices flowing, and get this kind of later evening stream started, especially since I have been struggling of late. Struggling. I was supposed to write 1,000 words a day up until today, but I've written 400. I wrote 400 on Tuesday. No, Monday and Wednesday. I wrote about 400 words each. So I'm a little bit behind. I'm really looking forward to getting more. So, yep. Anyway, so Donna, I would love to know what you are writing. I'm writing urban fantasy. And I'm in my second draft. And I would love to hear what you're writing and anyone else who may be here in the chat as well. I'm really excited about all the author tubers, my fellow author tubers who may have been writing in other genres coming over to fantasy. Um, I know Cody's writing a fantasy right now. I know Alyssa's writing a fantasy right now. Becca's got a fantasy on the docket. I'm so excited. Fantasy is my favorite genre. I love it, and I always just get really excited when everyone comes over and gets to enjoy it. Not that, I don't enjoy other genres. It's just that fantasy's my bread and butter. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes before we start our official first sprint. My plan is to do 25 minutes. I am a bigger fan of the baby sprints. I can go for longer, but I just like the shorter ones. I like the 25 minutes and then take a little break and then get back into it. So we're going to do a couple of 25s and then maybe a 15 at the end. So I had an agenda for this stream. Something else that I've got going is I'm attending a writers conference next week. Actually, I'm going to have to do a even later stream next Friday. Okay, Donna is working on outlining a sci-fi thriller. That sounds exciting. Oh my gosh. I read Gideon the Ninth earlier this year, and I swear that's one of the best books I've ever read, and that is sci-fi, fantasy, murder, mystery, horror genre mashup, and it was incredible. So I'm very excited about seeing that blend of genres. And I am also a big fan of outlining. Big fan of outlining. It's actually almost my favorite phase of the process, but I also really like revision. Yeah, I love making things better. But the drafting part is what I struggle with the most, which is so funny because it's like the most writery writing part of writing. But I am what I am. I've tried writing the story before, but discovery writing, which didn't work for me. Yeah. Yes, I have tried discovery writing myself a couple of times. I think like 3 times, and each time I would get to like 25,000 words and then crash out. I need to know I need to have like a process. I need to know where I'm going. The way I describe it is like it's a roadmap, right? Your outline is a roadmap. And your goal is to get from point A to point B. And sure, you might deviate from your map a little bit. You might go check out this cool sightseeing thing or take a detour, but at least your roadmap is there to help get you back on track if you need it. That's the kind of way I look at having an outline. But I admire the people who can just jump right in. I don't even start thinking about writing a book until I know what the ending is. Like I have to know what the ending is, or I can't even get started. Yes. Yep. Exactly. I mean, like I have no problems with like jumping into a new idea as it comes in because I do get my best ideas when I'm in the middle of it and in the weeds. But like sometimes then you'll find yourself in a corner, and at least with an outline you can at least kind of put yourself back on track. So yeah, I'm totally with you. I totally get lost and can't proceed until I know where I'm going. I'm also someone who I can't write out of like chronologically. Like I definitely admire people who can jump ahead and write scenes ahead of like where they're at in the story. It could not be me, unfortunately. Anatomy of a Story. Ooh, that sounds. I haven't read that one. Um, I recently discovered the 6-act structure, and that really helped me uh, with this current project. Okay, well, we are just about ready for our first stream. I say another, or sprint, Lord. So we are going to get that ready. Okay. All righty. Well, if everyone is ready, I think we will get some sprints going. I've put 25 minutes on the clock. If you jump in the middle, please feel free to say hi, and I will see you guys in 25 minutes. Whew, alrighty. That was a pretty good sprint. It went in a direction I did not expect it to go, but ultimately pretty darn productive. Um, I ended up with 442 words for this sprint, which is actually not, yeah, more than I've written either of the other 2 days that I've written this week. So, and those 2 days I had 45 minutes and 2 hours. So, I would think that that's pretty dang good. Um, hello, if you've joined us. We just got done with our first sprint. Donna, if you're still here, I'd love to hear how you did and how you used this time. I know you're outlining, so it's a little bit different than drafting. There's not a big word count usually to tout, but um, I'd love to hear how you did. I left off in the middle of a sentence. I was tempted to keep going, but I don't know about you, but I find actually it is easier to pick up in the next session if you leave off in the middle of a thought, because then you want to finish the thought, and then that thought leads to the next thought, and then on, rather than having to pick up fresh. That's also why I don't like leaving a day's work, like a writing session at the end of a day, with the end of a scene or the end of a chapter, because then you have to start into something completely new the next time, and it just takes a little bit more work to get going again. Um, so yeah, that was a good little sprint. I mentioned earlier that the scene is introducing a new character, not a new character. Well, a new character for the draft or for the character, but not new to me, obviously. And I was really struggling with how I wanted to write her because I didn't like the way she turned out in draft one. So far, she's much different, much different. And she's, like I said, it's taking an interesting turn, but I'm not really mad at it yet. It'll definitely need a closer look and revision. Um, I say revision, this is draft two, but I am completely rewriting this section of the book. Act two, part one is totally different. Brand new words, mostly brand new chapters. This is technically a rewrite of a chapter, but it, like I said, the featured character of this chapter and the scene is totally different in her characterization, and like the direction the scene is going, I hope will be different from the first iteration. So it does kind of feel like a brand new chapter in a way. Anyway, so when I do go back over this, I'm gonna have to take a closer look at this section and make sure that it works. But I do feel like there's a little bit of foreshadowing, and there's a little bit of like hint about what her character's inner conflict is. So I feel like that was a good one. Anyway, so it was a good session. Whew. Anyway, we're gonna give it, I would like to get 15 minutes in between sprints. Okay, Donna, I see you. I'm working on the moral argument chapter, so it's about carrying the theme through the characterizations as well as the plot. So I was working on that. Yep. Yeah. Theme, big thing. I am, it's so funny is that I kind of struggle with theme. I know that sounds so bad, but I kind of find the themes as I write. And so that's something I've been paying closer attention to in this second draft. Hold please. There we go. All of them dealing with vulnerability and dishonesty. Yeah. Yep. I love that. One of the themes that I am exploring in this book is family secrets, and how keeping those secrets so tightly held can impact, they as they flow down. And yeah, love that. Anyway, good stuff. Good stuff. I am. Let me check one thing here. Anyway, Donna, do you have any questions? I know big questions are a lot of streamers do questions. I am more than happy to answer any questions you have. I would also ask you questions if you'd like. Yes, yep. Absolutely. It's one theme that I've really enjoyed when I read is motherhood and those women who subvert the idea of motherhood, like stories that explore like what it means when you desire a relationship with your mother, but your mother doesn't necessarily want a relationship with you, and all of the reasons why that may be. So that's kind of a thing that goes into this book a little bit. And then who is your real parent? Who is the parent? Is it the person who gave birth to you, or is it the person who raised you? And what that means as well. So doing a little bit of that in my little urban fantasy secret government agency book. But that's what I was saying earlier, is that I kind of find those themes after I start writing. Because originally I just was like, this is just going to be a fun little monster hunting book, and ended up with these kind of darker elements. But that's the joy of writing, I feel like. Oh, I'm going to need a new drink soon. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm practicing my pitch for this writing conference I'm attending next week. It's a big writing conference in my metro area. And so I'm practicing my pitch. I went to this conference a couple years ago, like 5 years ago now, pre-pandemic. Oh my gosh, that's almost 6 years. And I had a really good time. I had a really good time at this conference. I met a lot of people. I became an extrovert for one weekend. Normally I'm an introvert, but I was so excited to talk to people, and I'm really excited to talk to people again. Especially since I'm like way further on in my journey than I was back then. And I got these little business cards made to hand people at this conference. I'm really excited about it. And I've also got I put my one sentence pitch on there. So that way I can just hand it to people and they can just read it and remember who I am and what my book is about. And I'm so excited, but I'm also super nervous. But yeah, so let's see, where are we at with our schedule? Well, we'll give it a few more minutes before we go on to our next sprint. We'll do another 25-minute sprint here in about 5 minutes. So, but yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this writing session so far. I was kind of worried that I wouldn't get much done, but it's going super well. So my one sentence pitch for this book is Seekers of Empyrean is a monster of the week inspired urban fantasy about a young woman with a rare magical ability who is recruited by a secret government agency to hunt down and stop a growing threat to the magical community. I'm still workshopping it a little bit. I don't like the ending of that, but yeah, that's pretty much it. The keywords being secret government agency, monster of the week, urban fantasy. So, but I have also struggled a little bit with the urban fantasy label, because the magic is the only fantastical element. There's no werewolves, there's no vampires, there's no any of that. So I don't even know if it qualifies as urban fantasy, but it is contemporary. It is in a modern setting. Um, urban is where I'm struggling the most because she, like, spends most of her time in, like, the headquarters of the secret government agency. But it feels I'm sticking with urban fantasy for now. Thank you, Donna. I'm pretty excited about it. The original, like, inspiration was Agents of Shield, which that Marvel show. So I'm pretty excited about it. I love the central conceit of that, and so I'm having fun with it. And I basically I was like, oh, what about a secret government agency similar to Shield, but it's magic instead of sci-fi and aliens and things. Because unfortunately, as much as I love sci-fi, I know personally that I could not write it. I am not that great with the science part, but I can make up stuff about magic. So that's how I ended up coming up with that. um, so I know you were talking earlier, Donna, about your project a little bit. Sci-fi thriller. Uh, is it a like a hard science fantasy or a hard science sci-fi? Or are you more of a low science, kind of softer science kind of person when you're writing your sci-fi? Um, I read the first two books of the Expanse series last year, and I really liked the hard science, but I can understand how that would be really difficult. And matching that with thriller too, having to put together all the twists and the suspense and everything. That's I am not strong enough. I am not a strong enough soldier to pull that kind of stuff off. No math. No math, she says. Yeah, I like that because I would struggle. My dogs are very loud. Oh boy. Anyway, so my dogs will bark at literally anything. That seems kind of crazy though. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna mute myself for a second. Oh my gosh, it's like they're waiting for me to start talking. Um, girl, that's okay. That is okay. I I've noticed one thing that I really dislike about TikTok is that there's no autocorrect because that points out to me how bad my phone typing really is. The crew from Firefly went to Hill House. Snap. That sounds pretty dang cool. Oh, that's cool. I love that. Well, we are at 9:05, so I think we should do another sprint. I am ready for it. So let us get back over to Focus and we'll do 25 minutes and I will see you soon. Okay, Donna. Well, thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you. It was nice talking with you, and I look forward to talking more with you in the future, either on other streams or in comments. Thank you so much for keeping me company. Oh, I should put my. Okay. All right. Um, that was another 25-minute sprint. I see Donna had to leave. Thank you, Donna, for coming. She had to work. Mm. That was another 25-minute sprint, and it was a far less productive 25-minute sprint. In fact, I took words away. I deleted like almost everything that I wrote and then some, and then I added some back and ended up at the same total and started the sprint with. So a total between the two sprints of 447. Um, but I was really struggling with that conversation. It was going into a direction I wasn't loving. So I backtracked, and I don't, when I do something like that where I get a bunch of words, um, and then I want to backtrack, I don't delete them. I just put them into a document that I have that's called cut content. So it never really goes away in case there's a line in there that I like or that I want to reuse. But I did end up deleting some words. Miranda's here. Hello. You made it. Yes, hello, hi. Glad you were able to get here. We have done two 25-minute sprints. I'm probably going to do a 15-minute one here in a little bit before we end the night, but it's been an interesting evening so far. That last session in particular was a struggle. But I am so glad you're here. What are you having for dinner? We had pizza in preparation for this because I was so nervous that I didn't want to cook anything and then having the kids knocking on my door. So I ordered pizza. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we're just getting some writing done, and this character is developing interestingly in a way that I didn't expect, but I'm having fun with it. So yeah, I am chugging along. I am let's see. Bacon cheeseburger, yum. Grape tomatoes, my daughter's favorite. And barbecue chips because it's non-kid. Yes, yeah. Girl dinner, girl dinner. Yes. I'm like that when my kids aren't with me too. I think like I'll have like a can of olives, like black olives. Those are a weird like in my family, like that's like our obsession is like we love black olives. And so at any like charcuterie board, always got a bunch of like black olives. And so that's like my guilty pleasure snack is just a can of black olives. So I'll have that and like a piece of cheese. That is child-free dinner. And the kids just got back this evening from the week at their dad's, and so me and my partner were just like making butter noodles and eating bagged salad. Anyway, so good times, good times. I'm gonna start another sprint here in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna call it like a warm down sprint. But yeah, it's I haven't been quite as productive as I hoped because this last one, like I said, I had to go back and backtrack on some of the words, but I am still more productive today than I have been all week. So I'll take what I can get at this point. And then like also I missed half the sprint because the reason my dogs were barking was because there were some people who showed up at the door who said that they like used track my iPhone to find a bag with an AirTag in it or something to our house. And not sure how that happened because we haven't left our house. And they were like, "Oh, it came here half an hour ago." And I know that Find My iPhone like tracking software isn't as precise as you think it is. I'm like sometimes it'll glitch out, and when I open it, and it'll show that my daughter's phone is still in Galveston from when we went on the cruise 2 months ago. So, like, it's not It's not perfect. Let's just put it that way. Uh, Chipping away. Yeah, so that's true. Especially since I've like had such a hard time being consistent of late. I am just pleased to be getting anything done. And like I was talking about it a little bit earlier, this scene in particular has been giving me a little bit of block because it introduces a character who's supposed to be really important, and I didn't like the way she turned out in the first draft, like at all. So I'm kind of trying to guide her into a new direction, and so I'm being very cautious with it and very deliberate. Um, so it's developing. I'm getting there. I just need like probably like another 2,000 words with this character and I'll fully have like her voice established, and kind of the role that she plays. Yes. hmm I've been doing so much cross stitching lately, which, if you don't know, is kind of like diamond painting. Um, but uh, so much. I just finished the background of the project that I'm currently working on. So this is the project I'm currently working on, and it has like this white background, and it takes up so much of the pattern. And so it took me like months and months to get through the background, and I just finished it. And so I've been like, now that I get to finally do something interesting, some of the color, that's all I want to do right now is cross stitch. So I'll just lay in my recliner and I'll have my laptop open on my lap, ostensibly with the manuscript open, but I'll just be cross stitching. So, yep, yep, it is. Like I have always like kind of been of the philosophy that the characters will kind of develop themselves as you write, but this is the first time where I was really like, "Ooh, I don't like you. I don't like the way you turned out." So, um, yeah, I'm trying to just gently parent her back into the position that she needs to be in. Uh, yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. But like the thing with the cross stitching, and I'm sure it's, I feel like you would probably feel the same way about like your sewing and stuff, is that because it requires both your hands and like your full attention, your eyes, it makes it so hard to multitask. So like I can listen to an audiobook while I'm doing it, but that's it. And that's so I can't like really write or really, do anything else while doing it. So it really truly is an investment of time, in a way that does not scratch my brain. But and then like because I was doing the background, it was like also really discouraging because I would get I would like work on it for an hour and then it would feel like I did nothing. But I'm excited to finally be in some color. Um anyway. Yes, I would love to see your ugly Halloween sweater cross stitch. I've got so many. I probably have 10. I'm actually on a cross stitch buying ban right now because I have so many and because it's so time consuming that like I could probably work on these for the next 3 or 4 years. So, yep. I'm I'm so ready. It like there was a cold front here in Texas, which means it's now in the 80s instead of the 90s. But I'm ready for it. I'm ready for our fireplace to be on. I'm ready for the cozy weather. I'm I'm excited. I'm excited for fall. Not just because of finish your book fall, but because I'm tired of the heat. So tired of it. So, all right. Well, we are just about to get started on our final warm down sprint. It'll just be a little 15-minute one. Let me get that going over here. And my goal is to get this conversation back on track, so that I can feel really good about leaving off this session strong. So, all righty. Well, it is 9:40. So I'm going to go ahead and get this sprint started. And we will see each other shortly. All right, that is the end of our little warm down sprint, and I regret to say that I went backwards again. I took some stuff away, and this time I didn't catch quite back up with where I was, so I am actually going to end up with even less words than after the first sprint. I'm currently sitting at 422 for the last almost hour of writing, but uh, I'm fine with that. There is something to be said for the fact that I am trying to get this right, instead of just moving on like I did when I was in the first draft. So that is going to do it for this stream. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you for keeping me company, Miranda and Donna, both. If you're watching this back later, both really appreciate you guys. Yeah, so next week we're going to do this again at a later time, because I have a workshop I am attending, and then I'm going to go see the Taylor Swift movie. Um, so I'm shooting for like 9:30, 10 o'clock next Friday. I'll be child free too, so I think it'll really work out. So that's my plan. If you are here for the Drabble portion of the live stream, really encourage you to go check out my community tab and post your Drabble in the comment section so that we can all kind of see how it turned out. I forgot to post mine in that post, so I'm going to edit it with my exactly 100 words in length Drabble. And that will do it for this stream. If you have your own YouTube channel, please drop your @ in the comments, because I am actively seeking out writers like me who are pretty close to the beginning of their journey, and who are smaller creators. I really, really feel an affinity with smaller creators and would love to connect with you. But other than that, I am going to say thank you so much for coming. I hope to see you next week. And that is a wrap on this very first live stream of Finish Your Book Fall. It may not have been the huge word count that I was aiming for, but I moved forward, and that's all I can say. Thank you so much, Miranda. Thank you so much for coming. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.